Hi, fellow Divine Rebels. I'm Rebecca England with Rebecca England Coaching, and I am a Divine Rebel, and my clients are Divine Rebels and change makers, non-conforming change makers with a spiritual bent. So, and rebels with a cause. It's true. They're out changing the world and they're rebels in their own way. Today's weekly challenge and topic of the week is freedom. Such a big word and conjures up so much. And let's start with what is not freedom. Freedom is feeling bound or imprisoned in some way where you can't get to what you want. You're in your own cage looking out. And it's easy to become a victim. And a lot of our mindset has been from being the receiving end of somebody who was not kind or told you couldn't do something or who knows what. But a lot of it's a mindset. True, if I wanted to be a brain surgeon tomorrow, I would not just walk into the hospital and become a brain surgeon, because that's what I would think would be freeing. I would naturally have to go back to school and work for a decade before I'd be able to do neurosurgery. But anyway, and that might be freedom to some people, to go to school and create a whole different life for themselves of something that they truly have been wanting. And the mindset would be that I don't want to go back to school, or, I want that, but that's going to be too hard. Kind of opening, unlock your cage door is what I'm asking for you to do. I've locked myself in prison in my own mind many times. I have been in situations where I kept my mouth shut, and even when something was crushing my own values, to fit in, to not rock the boat. And that's really hard for a nonconformist. It's really a duality. So I didn't do myself any favors. But once I reached around and turned the key on my prison cell, I was able to walk away and walk out and never go back into that prison. So that's what I want for you. And what I'm going to ask you to do this week, and just do small, start with little things. Look at where you do feel free. Is it where you live? Is it that you get to travel? Is it that you have a farm and a family that you adore? Whatever it is that makes you feel free, go for it. Go for it. It's liberation. And look at where you feel free in your life. Is it in your work life, your career? Is it in your personal life? And what I want is to blend the two for you. And you feel free in everything you do. And that there's not the limitations. As a story has come up, and I'm not sure why, but I'm going to throw it out here. Sometimes it's just our mindset. Sometimes feeling liberated is just, we latch onto something that our mind tells us, our thoughts tell us, and that's just the truth. I had a client who had been through a really rough time, went through the dark night of the soul, was down, and just was really working their way back up, and was doing a lot of self-growth and, really, really taking care of themselves and doing what they could for healing. And one day it was just like, well, I woke up the other day and decided, what if I'm already healed? What if I'm healed? And from that day forward, her life was different. She looked at it differently. It wasn't as painful. It was easier to just get up and do what she wanted to do for the day. She totally liberated herself just from turning her mind into a different thought process. So back to our challenge. Where do you feel liberated? Where do you feel free? And I'm going to ask that you look about and think about what created that sense of freedom for you. What did you have to overcome, whether it be your thoughts or your physical living world, your spiritual world, whatever it was that helped springboard you to feeling free in that area. Celebrate that. Celebrate it, because you can do it in other areas. So look at where you do feel liberated and take that feeling of openness, of possibilities, the sense of liberation and independence, and just do a little side eye at where you're not feeling quite so liberated. And you don't have to dig deep, but just look at it and maybe journal or think about what feeling liberation and knowing what it feels like could help, and where you're being blocked in the one area you're not feeling liberated in. See what it changes for you. That's what I want for you, is to feel completely liberated financially, environmentally, where you live, the work you do, the people you love, who you want to spend your time with, and where, in every area of your life. So join us at the next Magic Cafe, where people from all over the world, women, Divine Rebels, show up, and we can talk about these topics, just throw it on the table and feel supported and inspired, and that we're not alone. Even though our stories are slightly different, there's a lot of the same things underneath them, and that we're not alone. That's the thing about being a Divine Rebel. There's so much time that we've spent wondering where we came from and searching for the place to belong. The Magic Cafe is your haven, and we invite you to come in and be a part of the conversation. Love to you. Go feel free. Go be and live your freedom. We need you to. Bye-bye.